Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so what's up, guys? Leo here with another episode of Real Talk, and today in the episode we have the amazing David from #BMC.
Brisbane Makeover Co.
You know what I mean? So we're gonna be talking about style, we're gonna be talking about leadership, a little bit of everything, so make sure to stay until the end and
See you soon. Ciao.
ciao. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good.
So, what do you think about the new space?
The new space is brilliant.
So, I mean, like, and then I find out that you have your warehouse.
2 minutes away.
But when you say 2 minutes away, tell the people watching, listen. So now, for everybody watching or everybody listening, because we're having like the YouTube channel, the podcast, everything, this person that is going to introduce himself in a moment, he's got like one of the best staging companies in Brisbane, and I don't know if it's Australia or wide, but
We'll stick with Brisbane. Stick with Brisbane for now.
And we are lucky enough, and I didn't know that your warehouse is 2 kilometers away from our office.
Yeah, not even. Yeah.
So buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
So introduce yourself. Who are you?
Why, mate? Well, who am I? All right. So my name's David. I own the business called Brisbane Makeover Co. Now, we are a property styling service provider.
Okay.
So there's a difference between home staging and styling.
Here you go. We're already into it.
Yeah,
like we have to be specific because, like, you know, in for everybody listening or watching in the world, what we do in Australia, it's most of the times leading in marketing, advertising, but also in the way that we present real estate.
Yeah.
So tell us the difference, because I wanted to go into it straight away.
Cool.
So tell me what's the difference, and let's not make this mistake again.
Yeah. Okay. So generally, you've got two types of service providers. Okay. One is what the traditional property styling. Yeah. And now there's a new wave of people coming through, and that's home stagers.
Yes.
Right? So generally, home stagers, they get their products, their stock from another company like myself, or other bigger companies who will rent them their furniture, and then these guys will then go into the homes and set it up.
So it's the difference in between ice cream and gelato, basically.
Nice one.
That's the difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where like the ice cream is the industrialization of a process that otherwise it would have been artisanal, and that would be like the gelato. It's a different procedure, different ingredients. It's a completely different product. So basically, you also not. It's in the realm of the interior designing.
Yes.
So do you?
Or an interior redesign.
Okay. Tell me more about it.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the home stager and the property stylist.
Yeah.
So a home stager will do a service where they get, for example, from a third-party supplier, they get, for example, packs of, like, we're talking accessories and pillows and throws. They get pack sizes or pack quantities, limited stuff. They could get a pack size of 10, 20, 30 accessories, cushions, things like that, right? So they're limited to their pack size, and then when they go and stage a home, they're doing what I call informative styling or informative home staging, where they dress the house, but that's the kitchen, that's the lounge room, that's the bedroom, and it's informative. It tells people this is what it is. But with a property stylist, they're really dressing the home, and instead of being an informative service, I say we're more persuasive.
Okay. Now, I know that for people listening can be irrelevant, but it's not, because I've got a couple of examples. So one of them, it touches me like personally, because we had the chance to work on a project together, and after like we'll be showing, and for everybody listening, I'm telling you right now, it made a lot of sense. So, from what I understood, but then we're gonna go through the. I want to know you as a person, and then we'll go. But for what I understood, you work not on the look, but you work on the feelings that a place, on the emotions that a place needs to project and needs to give people that then will go and buy, rent, or whatever.
Yeah. Because we want to be a category of one to the home buyer. Yeah?
Yeah.
So we really want this place to be the only choice. So a buyer's going to see 2 or 3 different or more, properties, but we want your listing or the house that we dress to be the one that this guy and this lady think about. This is the property. This is the only one. Yeah. Why? Because for some reason we've created that emotional connection. Yeah. They walk into the space and it's like, right, hey, I like this. There's something about this that's really got me. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But this house is cool. This is the one I like. The one I saw earlier on, or one I'm going to, it's nice, but there's something about that other one. That the way the living room works, the layout, the feeling. This is home,
So that feeling of there's something about it. Let's talk about it. Like that's creativity.
Yeah.
That's like the everything that includes the emotional side of the brain.
Yeah.
Where does it come from? Okay, I want to have a little bit. I'm curious. I want to know you as a. This is like a conversation that helps people, professionals, even from the banks, like accountants, understand what a person is and what a person does. Sometimes they are connected, but sometimes it's like a result of a chain of events.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a picture for you that I want you to look at, and I want to know, I know you as a person, so I picked it in the best way possible. So let's have a look at this flag.
Yeah.
What flag is this one?
That's the Uruguayan flag.
How do I know that you're from Uruguay?
Because you're very talented.
Okay, so you have a mix in you of, everybody has a mix of bloods from nationality from everybody, everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
But yours is very specific. So you are a little bit Italian.
A little bit.
And a little bit from Uruguay,
of
course, like Australia, South America.
Yeah,
so tell us more about it.
All right, so my parents immigrated from my mum came from Uruguay to Sydney. My dad's Sicilian, but he grew up in Colombia. So he came from Colombia to Sydney and met my mum, and then
and then here you are. So basically you are 110% Latino.
Yeah. But Ossified.
Like you are like 110% Latino. If I have to say something to you, the first time that we met, you look fully Italian by the looks and by the style, your hair, your appearance. But the moment they understood that you had a little bit of that kind of warmth, the kind of creativity that is specific from those countries, from my country too, because like Hispanic or Italian is from your work. I don't know if anybody told you, but lots of the comments that I had about you, it was warmth. Yeah. So do you reckon that's a side of you that it's inevitably going
that's from
inside?
My nonno.
That's from your nonno.
That's nonno. Yeah.
Like so, was anybody in your family in this industry, or you are the first one?
I'm the first one.
You are the first one.
Yeah.
How did you decide? What was your call?
All right. So growing up, my parents separated. Okay, and then I spent a lot of time living with my mum, and my mum's very house proud.
Okay.
Yeah, so the house was always perfect and she'd be doing things and we'd mucking around, and then of course she'd have, Reader's Digest magazine or Home Beautiful magazine or House and Garden or something, yeah? So that's always sitting around it in my place. And just over the years, flicking through magazines when you're a kid, you're just looking at pretty pictures. And then funny enough, I had a neighbour, this is back when I was, this tall. Mr. Burke, his name was Mr. Burke because he's passed away, but he used to be a traditional French polisher. So in the back of his garage, he used to restore and make furniture. And so as a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, I used to go visit Mr. Burke and just watch him make furniture. And that, I guess, was the start of, so this is in the suburb of Leichhardt in Sydney.
In Sydney.
Yeah.
That's the Italian...
Yeah, it is there. Yeah.
And it's also the pathway from the plains.
It's under the flight path, yes.
But anyway, that's another story. We'll talk about it another way. But that made me wonder a few days when I went there. I met a guy in a coffee shop. He was Italian. He said to me, "You know
was
what?"
Italian.
Yeah,
Still is.
Yeah. He said to me, "What? You know why we are so? You know what?" In Italian, he said to me, "You know why we are so good in this part of the city?" I was like, "Why?" Because every time there's a plane, we wonder.
Oh. Yeah.
That's what he said to me. That's why I know that was the pathway. Anyway, so basically, you have in you years and years of like magazines, fashion.
So what happened after, in my mid-20s, I started buying just home magazines, so Home Beautiful, Better House and Garden, stuff like that. And I started collecting these things, right? And then I started from there just taking out the pages and then having my own little catalogue. I'd create from all these different magazines. I'd create a catalogue and how to do lounge rooms and bathrooms and bedrooms and landscaping. I'd just create myself a catalogue, and then over the years you just study and read it and highlight it and just educate myself.
So another question that I want to ask you is, how do you manage your creativity? So. And that's how do you keep it fresh? And that's why I ask you today to bring. We're gonna with the magic of the television. We're gonna show this little assemblage that you put together in our corner. So can you explain to us what is it? And how do you keep it fresh? And how do you have ideas and new ideas to make your brand a winning brand?
Good question. All right. So I don't create any of the furniture, right? We're a property styling service provider. So we've got to bring in furniture that's going to fit our target audience, right? But we've also got to meet and exceed the expectations of the buyers, yeah? So what happens here is, excuse me, instead of having furniture pieces that every mum and dad or the usual people have, we've got to go up a level, yeah? Because as a property stylist, we've got to present the house that's going to be aspirational to the buyer.
Yeah.
So they want to see things that they haven't got, yeah? Generally speaking, buyers will always buy better than what they've had.
This is a very good also lesson for marketing, for everybody listening that is interested in marketing, advertising. This is a really, really good take that we can get from you. Mm-hmm. So you are telling me, make something that is like a 5 look like a 7.
Spot on. Yeah.
How do you keep that fresh? How do you get inspired? Because fashion changes all the time. Yeah. So what is that make you like, what is the secret? When I say secret, is that research? Is that eye for the new that is coming? What is it?
Look, the suppliers will push their products and introduce us to the new things, and we see the latest trends that are coming through. But for example, if you've got a 2-bedroom unit, you want to show the latest fashion in terms of interiors. But if you've got a classic house that's in a nicer part of Brisbane, they don't want to see the latest fashion. They want to see a classically designed house with the furniture that supports it, if that makes sense. So you've got to treat each house individually. Yeah.
So you are giving for every cocktail the right glass. So if it's a martini, you need a martini glass or cup.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you have to use always the same cup. It has to be like, the latest in technology can be. Or there's something new or a brand that you use that maybe does new stuff in a classical way.
Yeah.
So basically it's hours and hours of research.
Oh, it's constant. And now we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, once again our suppliers. There's always new things, and we can see work that's being produced in Europe, in America, South America, Africa, wherever. Okay?
I know from a previous conversation that you own your own furniture.
Yes.
So Do you pick and choose also from markets, from those fairs where there's like, or do you go to these places where new is coming, or?
Oh yeah. So I try to get to the supplier conventions, the shows, as much as I can. Most of them are in Melbourne or Sydney, and all the new products are getting launched at these fairs.
Did you find that chair and that table and that lamp somewhere, or do you put them at all of them together, or you put them together? Like you find them singularly?
Oh, we find them singly. Yeah.
Okay.
So the chair might be one supplier, the coffee table's from somewhere else, the lamp's from another place.
What style is that? How would you describe it? How would we name that kind of style?
I would call it contemporary.
Contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit inspired by the
60s.
60s.
Yeah.
With the velvet.
Okay. So what's happening now in terms of interior fashion? The 60s kind of are the inspiration of the new things coming through. Yeah. So a classic would be, the Carlisle Hotel here in Brisbane in the
There
Valley.
you go. I was just about to say.
Yeah. That's kind of the new at the moment. And it's a beautiful hotel too.
It's probably one of my favorites,
Yeah.
the Carlisle Hotel. We went there, we shot some images. Maybe we have some stock footage of that. Maybe when we speak, we can put it underneath.
Yeah.
But talking about the Carlisle, talking about places, I want to show you another image. And you'll have to tell me what this image means to you.
Okay.
So
Let's do it.
Okay. This is an image of Brisbane.
Yes.
What did Brisbane to what Brisbane did to you, and what it means for you?
Leah, funny you should bring this image up, because about 15, 16 years ago, I got invited. I was living in Sydney, okay, and I got invited to come up and spend some time with, back then, my partner's family, and we jumped on the River Cat, right, at Bulimba.
Yeah.
They said, "Well, let's go for a little cruise."
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, that noise that you heard, that was the city cat.
Yeah, lovely. Very loud one. So we jumped on the plane in the ferry, right?
Ferry, yeah.
And I don't know, it was a Saturday, Sunday, it was afternoon, beautiful. And we're just gliding over the river, and we come from Bulimba then to the other side of the bridge. And there's one point there. I'm standing at the beginning of the top of the ferry, just the breeze is coming through. It's just one of those brilliant days. It was a day like the image, right? I'm just about to go under the bridge, and at that point, it's like, right, I'm going to move to Brisbane. And this has never happened to me before. There's a point that says, right, I'm moving to Brisbane. So when I see that, I think of me 15 odd years ago, saying, right, I'm going to move to Brisbane.
So that was a specific moment.
That was the point. Yeah.
So basically, you fell in love.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the city.
Yes.
You fell in love with the atmosphere.
Yep.
You knew from that moment on, something bigger would have happened.
Absolutely.
And it's funny that you say that, because most of the time, like, a lot of decisions are taken on a point of mobility. So what I mean by that is that on the river, on the water, on a boat, that's the most unstable place to take a permanent decision. But most of the decisions are taken on boats and planes. So there was a book. If I remember what was the book, I'll link below, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So. He treated you well, and now basically you won. Talk to me about your award. So you moved 15 years ago.
Yep.
And then after a while, something happened. You won one of the major awards in Brisbane. What was that?
Yeah. Okay. So HIA is the Housing Industry Association, and each year they have, I guess, an awards night for the best, new build, largest property, the greatest kitchen, the greatest bathroom, interiors, all different awards relating to housing. Yeah. So 3 odd years ago, we won Best Property Styling in Brisbane, and then we won Best Property Styling in Queensland through HIA.
So basically, there's for a year, there was nobody better than you in your job.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're interviewing you
That's
today.
right, that's right.
Now, look, the reason why we are interviewing number ones, we're interviewing people that are successful in what they do is because everybody listening can take something from it. So I'm taking as much as I can from people of knowledge like you. And it's interesting like how you can apply the same concepts that make you successful in everyday life and in my job every day. So I'm interviewing you as a CEO, as a owner of a business, and that's the interesting part in my opinion, because this takes me always to one specific sector, that is leadership. Because everybody listening over here, they want to have as much as they can. You know what what's the main question that everybody asks around when we are at dinner tables and stuff like that? Not only how to be successful, but how to sustain success, how to manage people, how to realize that you are like in charge, and then you have your idea, and how to make other people fall in love with your idea. How do you do that?
Right. Yeah, that's a tricky one, you know. But in terms of leadership, I look at leadership like a piece of string, okay? So you can't push the string. If the business has that string, you can't push it from the back because it then becomes like a big S.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But you've got to pull this piece of string from the front, lead it forward.
Yes.
Okay? And then you'll be in line.
So basically you're telling me you have to use the approach of a kite. Let the kite go high, and then the string is gonna pull, and then it needs more of the string, but that means that at least you know that the kite is pushing in the right direction. If the S starts to appear,
the kite comes down.
The is coming down, so you are not doing your job.
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting analogy, and well, it took you from zero to do everything like that you wanted to do. Are you there, or you are not happy, like, or you have a lot more in you? I already know the answer.
I never thought I would be where I am right now, but of course you always want more, you want better. There's different things change, like at the moment things change, and then your business has to go a different way, and you do something, and then you've got other stylists coming at your feet, kind of nipping away at you. They're trying to be you, yeah. And it's funny because I can see other people copying our work.
Yeah.
And because it's all on Instagram and Facebook, and it's a pleasure and it's an honour, you know, to see that in the marketplace, which is great. Yeah.
I reckon the same problem that you have was the same problem that the big stylists. I know the Italian ones, for example, Versace or like D&G.
Oh yeah.
Do you reckon like leading position, your competition doubles or triples, or you reckon that you don't have a competition because the job that you do is such a specific?
Yeah. There's always competition, you know, and there's a handful. There's a great number of other stylists who do beautiful work as well. You know, look, it also comes to, in all fairness, it comes down to the properties that people have. It's the furniture available. You know, the way you're feeling as a stylist at the time. There's all these different number of things that contribute to a great job.
I feel like one of the secrets is also relationships.
Yes.
You have to have a good relationship between you and the people that you work with. In a way that they are always one phone call away from you.
Yeah.
So that's probably some of the things.
Yeah.
And for that reason, one day I called this guy, so I will show you something, the last image.
Okay, Leo, can I just interrupt for 1 sec? Just back to leadership.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's that pyramid shape where you got the boss up here and the assistants and then everyone underneath. In my business, it's kind of like that, but because I do things a little bit different, instead of having that triangle shape with leader at the top, I flattened that.
Okay.
Right? So for me, it's like, well, I've got my business is my family, and everyone that works with me is part of my family, right? And so it's a triangle. So for example, I've got sales and management here. I've got the installation team and the delivery guys here. We've got the admin and all the back end stuff that that happen, and we've all got to work together. You know,
Right.
And this is the way I do my business. Yeah.
Your business.
But if it's from the top pushing everything down, to a certain degree, we still need that. But for me, if it's flat, people then can look at each other eye to eye and say, right, without the sales, there's no property stylist to select the furniture pieces, there's no removalist to do his job, there's no installation, things like that, So for me, just, bring it flat and we all got to work together.
That is a beautiful analogy, and that's like, and I can see that it's important for you. That's why we came back to the topic, and that's actually what is important for other people, to give perspective. It's all about perspective, like how you put it together. And plus, when you put it down in that way, it looks like a arrow, and it's a direction. You go, all of you, in the same direction.
That's it.
So, and one of the reasons why we met, you can say quickly, how did we meet?
All right, so I saw you on another podcast and thought, I need to work with you because I reckon you're going places. So I called you up, here at Rivers now, I called you up and introduced myself.
And this happened. Allora. I saw the Italian. Okay, and this happened. Okay, if you now we're gonna look at an image, but it's actually the website. So this is the website that we created. And if I go into residential, well, the very first picture is this property over here.
Yes.
So this property over here is basically the one that made us start this partnership in property styling. And this very image has been clicked, I don't even know how many times, like 14,000 times. It was something like ridiculous.
Yes.
This is like a penthouse, $1.3 million. We sold it for the first time. So everybody was going on to the owner, you're never going to sell it. But then with a little bit of understanding of the property, we sold it in 2 weeks.
And the buyer?
The buyer, and that's the part that I want to go to, came through and she said to me, Leo, I sent the video to, we'll put the link in the description below the video, but I sent the video and the pictures of this specific place all over the world, because she's from the UK, and I wanted them to have a look at the styling. Now, the reason why the styling is in that way, ladies and gentlemen, is because of this beautiful man in front of me. So, you understood the place.
Yeah.
I told you one specific thing. I said to you, do whatever you want. And you did it.
Yes.
So, drive me, quickly, take me through your decision about this specific property. You took, the colors, and it took you, I remember, the first meeting that we had, probably an hour, just thinking about it, wandering through the place. Is that what you do? Is that where everything hits you?
Yeah. As I was saying before, we've got to figure out who the buyer is. We've got to think, what are they thinking? What's the lifestyle they want when they're buying their new property? And then we've got to give it to them. Yeah? So we analysed the buyer and just drilled it down and to produce something that they want, but then that little bit more. So it's aspirational. Yeah? I want this one.
Give me 2 words to help people listening at the moment that is going to direct them towards better decisions. What are the 2 things that they have to do to make their business the best business possible?
Listening would be one word. You've got to listen to your clients, and the next one would be marketing. These days, you just have to market. Yeah, you can't be a famous secret. Yeah, you can't be. You've got to tell people who you are, be true to what you do, what you believe. Tell them, hey, I believe in this. For me, I believe in, not so much property styling, Leo, but I believe in helping the seller get more, to sell quickly, to sell fast. Yeah, because that's why he's doing what he's doing, because he's producing accommodation, he's producing housing. He's also a businessman. Yeah.
Well, like
In this case, yeah.
I thank you so much for coming here today,
Pleasure.
for finding the time, for bringing us those beautiful table, chair, and lamp, because to showcase what's the style coming.
Yeah.
I also thank you for being such a professional,
Thank you.
and in a way that makes everybody listening compare themselves with someone that is already taking professionalism to a whole new level.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Leo.
So thank you so much for coming. We're gonna see this video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna have like a podcast popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
Real talk. And yeah, as usual, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
Excellent. Thanks.
Ciao.
Leo. Ciao. Ciao.